I am Dr. and I welcome all of you to the SeaWorld Research and Rescue Center for our new science talk tonight. This science talk series is developed in close collaboration with the Environmental Agency Abu Dhabi, Emirates Natural History Group Abu Dhabi, the Natural History Museum Abu Dhabi, and Nautica Environmental Associates. Everybody has a seat? Perfect. Before starting actually our talk, I just wanted to share with you an initiative that we launched with the center. And if we can just put the slides on. It's gonna come. We started and we launched a photo contest. It's called One Ocean Photo Contest. So I just wanted to make sure that every one of you in the room tonight is aware of it, because if you have pictures already existing in your phones, or if you're going this weekend or next out there and you see something that you think would be worthwhile, you can send us your pictures. So the contest will be open until the 7th of November, and we will have the judging period from the 7th of November to the 21st of November, and the award ceremony will be happening during the Abu Dhabi International Boat Show, which will be on the 23rd of November 2024. This photo contest is done in collaboration and partnership with the Abu Dhabi Maritime Awards. You just need to take a picture, obviously, to enter the details. So you can go on our website and you will see all the terms and conditions, select a category and submit your photo. And then you have all the chance to win some nice awards. Can we go to the next slide? These are the 4 categories, and as you can see, you can pick and choose marine wildlife, marine conservation, Arabian Gulf, and youth. So I see a lot of young children in the room. Please take your camera or the phone of your parents and take some pictures whenever you are out there. And the last, this is just to show you the prizes you can win. We will have some GoPro Hero 12. We will have your image or your picture printed on a canvas and displayed for a full year here in the center. And you will be able to come and participate to some activities behind the scene here with our team, rescue, research, and education team at the center. So again, if you have any questions, just you can come at the end and ask us. Otherwise, everything is on the website. Good luck to all. Thank you. And now let's go and start the event. And today, actually, we are not gonna go in the water. We are gonna go and stay on land, in the dry land. And before I welcome our wonderful speaker on stage, I just want to introduce her, because I'm very super happy that she came all the way from Dubai tonight just to talk to us. This is Nahla Nupi. She is the head of the terrestrial biodiversity section at the UAE's Ministry of Climate Change and Environment. Nahla shapes biodiversity policies, represents the UAE at global conventions, and develops national conservation laws. So, yes, she has a lot to say and a lot to share with us. She's a very keen advocate for public engagement, and you can see and we see that she was so excited to be part of this event with us tonight. And she has received several awards for her contribution to conservation in the years. So please join me in welcoming Nahla on stage. Just one thing, as usual, we will sit down at the end of the event to answer any questions. So keep your question for the end. I will ask just to make sure that your phone is off and to make sure that, again, you're not going in and out the room during the talk. So enjoy. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Nahda Nobi, and I will give you a brief about terrestrial mammals in the UAE. What is the challenges that they are facing, and what is the conservation program that UAE, starting with the Ministry of Climate Change and all our partners, did to ensure those species are protected. So before we start, I would love to just give you a bit of facts why biodiversity is important. Why do you protect them? And why does it even matter? So imagine every day, or actually every 20 minutes, one of the species around the world is gone. So we lose every 20 minutes one species. And adding to that time, to a year, we lose around 27,000 species. So imagine year after year after year, losing this amount of species. We reach in 30 years losing 20% of our world species. So what to do? We need to do something about it. So before entering to our efforts and challenges, I would like to know what is biodiversity. I understand there is a scientific definition, but I want to know from your perspective of view, what is biodiversity in your own knowledge? Someone? Yes?
So my version of biodiversity, Yep, okay. So my version of biodiversity is basically, like different animals, different species.
Correct.
Living in a certain environment, certain biomes, certain habitat, basically. And then have together and,
Exactly. So we have gifts, but it's for children. So if you want to dedicate it to someone else, it will be great. So biodiversity, as our colleague said, it's a variety among living organisms. It's an interaction with their between their species, their ecosystem, and habitat. Biodiversity is the essential elements for living. It provides us a very good fresh air, proper food, water, soil, and everything that we need to live. So that's why biodiversity matters. Without it, we couldn't survive. So in the UAE, we have 4 types of ecosystems. I know everyone thought UAE is only desert. It's not, actually. We have 4 types of ecosystems. Desert is 80% of the UAE. So this is manageable, this is the correct. But also we have a mountain. So mountain ecosystem in the UAE is surrounded in the eastern and northern of the UAE. Also we have, in the mountain we have a lot of species that live there and their habitat is there. And the wetlands, we have a good population of wetlands. We have actually 10 wetlands in the UAE. So these wetlands, it's important to ensure that it helps to reduce the climate change impact by absorbing CO2 and specific trees. Someone knows which type of trees are? Yes, exactly. So, finally, the marine. Also marine, we're in SeaWorld. You understand how marine is important. The marine ecosystem helps to ensure the ecological balance of ecosystem in the world. It's one of the important ecosystems that provide essentially food, like fish, for example. So when we talk about mammals, so mammals are in the UAE. They represent a very essential component, and they're very close to our heart. It contributes to our ecological balance and also to our cultural heritage and natural beauty. Mammals are used in UAE in pottery. This is how much beautiful it is. So in our harsh environment, those mammals are suffering. They're facing so many challenges. However, because they're remarkable animal and species and they know how to adapt well, they thrive to ensure that they are safe in these challenges. So if we talk about terrestrial mammals, or mammals overall, how many mammals do you think are available in the UAE? Any number, drop a number. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah? Any number.
200? 264?
Maybe less. Yeah, go.
Is there like 100?
Less than 100. You can go half.
56.
Almost there, but correct. Ahmed, please can you give the 3 girls gifts? So we have 58 total of native mammal species in the UAE. However, 39 of them are terrestrial and 19 of them are marine. So 58 mammals are confirmed and seen and even registered in the UAE. So because I can't go for the whole 39 mammals, 39 terrestrial mammals, I will speak about some of the key species that, as I said, is closer to our UAE heart, and we have so many protection efforts that we're working on to ensure their conservation. So for example, the Arabian oryx. The Arabian oryx, locally known in Arabic language, or actually in Emirati dialect, they call it wadahi. So wadahi or Arabian oryx, they are medium-sized mammals. They reach to 80 kilograms, and they're purely white, but they have facial of black lines and black legs. So they're white, they have black on their face and legs, that's it. The difference between the male and the female, and I want you to focus on this part. So for the female, the horns are very long and they're straight, and some of them are curved a little bit. However, for the male, it's thicker but shorter. So male is shorter and female is longer. This is the difference. This is how you can, the oryx that you're looking at is a male or female. So both of them have hooves. These hooves help them walk around in the soft sands. It helps them to go around in the desert and survive. However, there is a key threat. Those threatening those species, not from now, it's since a long time ago. It's globally actually. So for the Arabian oryx, what's been threatening them or too long is previously, like traditionally in 1970 and before, people used them for food, for meat. So people used to hunt them for meat. And also because of habitat loss, we had it threatened them and threatened the population. So let me tell you a fun fact about oryx. The oryx, they can stand and walk after 1 hour of giving birth. Who can do that? Can you? No? Maybe. You should try. Not really. So this is an amazing fact about oryx, that they can walk and after 1 hour of being born. So, and I forgot to mention that oryx lives in the desert. However, in Arabian tahar locally known as tahar as well in Arabic, Arabian tahar live in the mountain areas. It's little bit looks like goat. People say it looks like goat. Actually, it does. It is from the tribe of goats, so it makes sense. So it's found in the Eastern Arabia. It has a very stocky body. It has a backward arching horns, and it's kind of twisted, but its horns is very long. It's like around 20 centimeters. So it has a very long one. And let me tell you a fun fact about it, that the Arabian tahar, to mark their territory, so they hooves around a line with their hooves, and they urine around it. Just to tell other predators, this is mine, so this is my territory. I think other species does that. What do you think? What other species? Yes? Yep.
Wolves do it, but also the else.
There is a domestic species that does that, yeah? Yep. Sheep, yeah, correct. Cats. Dogs maybe sometimes. Usually cats mostly, they mark their territory with urine. That's correct. Ahmed, make sure everyone gets it. So everyone is getting a gift. But thank you for answering. So we'll move on to another key species of the UAE, is the Arabian sand gazelle. And I want you to pay attention, there's 2 types of Arabian gazelle. Sorry? Gazelle? Camel, yes, of course. Yes. So Arabian sand gazelle, there is two types of them. So there is the Arabian gazelle and there is the Arabian sand gazelle. It's two different species. The one we have in the UAE is the Arabian sand gazelle. In our locally, and it's locally known as a reem. It's used in poetry a lot and music as well because of its beauty. They say gazelles are very pretty. So the gazelles live in sand dunes. They don't live in mountains or rocky areas. They know of their speed. They're very fast. They can reach up to 60 kilometers per hour. This helps them to escape any predators. But this is the difference between it and the other species. So for the Arabian sand gazelle, for the male has long and large curved horns. However, for the female, it's kind of smaller and delicate. So the test now. What did I say about oryx? How can you? Yes, I didn't even say the question yet.
Oryxes at longer forests and just like this.
Yes, exactly. Can you clap for him? It's really complicated. That's amazing. And the gazelle is the different. So this is how you know the difference between them. Okay? Another fun fact about the Arabian sand gazelle is that they're the only species in the region that they have twins. Imagine, every time they want to have a birth, they have twins. So how many twins they do have? So lastly, the caracal. The caracal, also known in our locally, locally known as al-washaq. The caracal is a medium-sized sand-colored cat. It has long ears. Yes, you want to mention something? It is a cat, actually. It's a type of cat. I agree with you. It has long ears with the tufts. Those tufts, it works like an aerial, or signals. It helps them to listen for other species from far away. And also for predators, not only caracals. So the caracals, they're known of their powerful jumping. They can jump for about 3 meters. So a fun fact about caracal, that they are known as the barking cat. Have you ever seen a cat barking? Who does bark? Dogs, exactly. But caracal, they have a sound, so they very aggressive sound, just to ward the predators from their way. So they call it the barking cat. Okay, so now after knowing the species that we have in the UAE, we need to know what is the challenges that they're facing. Globally, there is the challenges that we are facing globally, biodiversity facing, is similar to every continent, every area. It's a global issue. So the global biodiversity challenges, one of them is population growth. So population growth, what happens if the people increase in numbers? What will happen? Yes?
More consumption of goods.
Yes, more consumption. And the girl there, yeah?
But me. When there's too many people, that means more hunting. That means more animals will go.
Exactly, correct. I agree. Yes.
More animals.
Yes, and they use more lands. They move lands. Exactly. So it would be more land use, more using resources, and also the population growth, in fact, the pollution as well. More growth, more pollution, more land use. Yes, sorry, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, exactly. Loss of biodiversity is another challenge that biodiversity is facing. So they're all interlinked. Whatever one is damaging, the next will continue. Another challenges that people don't usually focus on is the illegal wildlife trade. Imagine the illegal wildlife trade is the highest, third highest illegal trade in the world. So I'm not sure if you're aware about illegal trading, but do anyone have any idea? Like what do we trade usually in Dubai, like in UAE? Sorry, yes.
The tree.
Yes. Like what product have you seen that it's illegal? Yes.
Out there, so, for animals, I believe. So for animals, we have wild cats, like cheetahs, lions, and tigers that have been imported,
Yes.
which have been considered illegal, and also other rare species.
Yes. Correct. You want to add? Yeah.
Look, a lot of center. What is the terms of sensory?
Exactly. Exactly.
On somewhere else, the what?
Exactly. So all of them interrupt or interact in biodiversity challenge and encourage them to exploit and to damage them. So another challenge is climate change. I think climate change is very well known, and I think all of you know what's the issue that comes out of it. And lastly is the invasive species. So every time I go to someone and ask people what is invasive species, I don't think someone knows. So I wish someone here can tell me what is invasive species. Yes, the boy with the pink shirt. Yeah. Is it pink? It shows pink to me. Yes, go ahead.
Species are species, but are not many to the environment that which compete with the
Yes, exactly.
with the environment's inhabitants.
Exactly. Yes. And causing harm.
Yeah,
So
causing
without causing harm, we call them alien species. But the minute they're causing, they're invasive. So can you give me one example of any invasive species you have seen?
I haven't seen this, but I heard about it in Malta. That's where I'm from.
Oh, and then you want to go? Yeah, go ahead.
Crawfish are invasive.
Sorry, which species?
Crawfish.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know this idea. This is very interesting. So, who knows any invasive species in UAE? Yes. Sorry? Pigeons, correct. But what about mammals? Yes. Yes, they're invasive, but I'm talking about terrestrial mammals. What do you think? But cats, it's invasive. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Sorry? No, camel is native.
Projects and researches, we as an entity, as a federal entity, as a legal entity, we provide policies, we provide laws. We develop laws because laws are the main fundamental legal framework for anything, for protection, for conservation. So this is what we start with. We ensure that our base is correct. So the UAE developed many laws in the phase of protection of biodiversity and environment overall. And also, they ratified and signed many conventions related to biodiversity itself. So for only biodiversity, we have ratified 16 conventions related either generally to migratory species, wetlands, biological diversity, or even single species. Like we have a MOU on turtles, on sharks, on dugongs. So we either have an all or targeting certain things. Also, we have been working so far on developing national strategies. So strategies help in a way to address the issue and targeting the way of working on it. So for example, example of biodiversity strategy, it has so many goals. So each goal has programs, each program has a way forward. We ensure that we tackle every issue that we face in the country and put a way forward how to reach and how to make sure we're done. But we don't do that on a general basis. We also target single species. So for example, we have action plan to protect turtles. So turtles before had a way, it's almost had, were kind of endangered, and we wanted to ensure to protect them and keep them safe. So we did an action plan. We put programs on how to protect them and how to ensure that they're back. So after putting the law, the fundamental, and putting the and signing internationally conventions and strategies, we work on projects. So ministry work on projects to ensure that we have the basic science, then we have the policy as well. So the Red List project, the Red List is like a tool or it's a tool or it's like an assessment to evaluate the species. So we evaluate each species according to a certain criteria to tell us the level of risk of this species. So for example, when I posted the Maha, it says vulnerable. So we had to evaluate the species in the UAE to see what we need to target, what we need to protect next, what animals or species we need to focus on right now. So we evaluated 1,167 species. So this number are the native species in the UAE. So today we can say that we have 1,167 species that are known. There is more, of course, but this is what we know for now. And we divide them among mammals, reptiles, amphibians, plants, and birds, and so on. So after the study that we did, after we evaluated all the mammal species, we did assessment. So the first evaluation was 1996, and the last one was in 2018. We wanted to see that is our effort really working, or is just a propaganda that we are doing? So after evaluation and after conducting the details and according to the index of Red List, we have protected a good amount of mammals. I know you will say 0.61 is nothing to 0.63, but trust me, it's a lot. So the index is like from 0 to 1. So whenever you're close to 0, it means you're close to extinction. But whenever you're close to 1, it means your species is least concerned. So this is what we need to reach. We need to reach to 1. So the 0.2 means nothing to some people, but it's a lot to us. So another thing we have is the protected areas. I'm not sure if anyone knows what protected areas or can name any protected area in the UAE that you have visited. Yes. Yes, they're in Abu Dhabi, correct. So do you have any terrestrial protected area in your mind? Yes. Yes, it's very nice, actually. So I recommend you to visit the protected areas that we have in the country. We really have a nice protected areas. It has activities. It has so many knowledge that you will add to your knowledge. And so in the UAE, we have 49 protected areas. 18% of them are terrestrial, and 12% of them are marine. They help in protecting the species in those areas to ensure their survival. So another project we have been working on, actually we have released this project this year, so the key biodiversity area. Key biodiversity area is an area that identified according to a certain, it's defined according to certain criteria. It says that, so based on the criteria, it tells you if this area is important or not. And its importance comes from the habitat, what is there, the species is there, and the interaction and the quality of life over there. So in the UAE, we have recognized 9 key biodiversity area. However, it's considered one of the, the UAE considered the first in the Middle East that's designated an important area for dugongs, and the first in the world that designated in key biodiversity area for oryx and Arabian gazelles. And we identified 3 important areas for geckos. Do you know what is a gecko? Yes? Yeah? No? Yeah? Have you seen one? Yes? Yes, exactly. And it's kind of nice, by the way. So another program that we have been working is breeding. So for breeding, there is a lot of successful stories. UAE worked so hard when it comes to breeding program. And I'm not talking about mammals, even birds and other species. So there is a very nice story about the Maha. I'm not sure if you're very well known about those story. So in 1970, Maha was declared extinct in the wild. Imagine, it disappeared. So Sheikh Zayed, the founding father of the UAE, had, I think it was only 2 heads. So 2 heads of Maha was captive bred. So he put a huge program and effort to ensure those 2 mahas left are not disappearing. So after that, after 1970 until now, I proudly can say that the UAE has the largest population of al-maha, reaching to approximately 10,000 heads. This is something very huge. Imagine from animal being extinct to being back in the wild. And our effort is not only in the UAE. So we work with other countries to reproduce, to breeding programs and reintroduce them in their country, in their wild. So, are you bored yet? Okay, nice. Just to make sure you're awake. So, this is the project that the ministry is working on, but we're not only targeting scientists and policymakers, we're also targeting kids, youth, adults. We ensure that we have awareness program, capacity building. So when it comes to capacity building, we have training program for certain authorities, certain entities to ensure that we can help them to be part of the conservation plan. So for example, customs, police officers, aviation sector, we always have we have yearly training program for them to help them to understand the identification of species. This helps them to combat the species, the illegal trading. So if they don't know what species they're caught in, then how are they going to catch the criminals? So this is a training program that we do yearly. So also awareness program, we do a yearly awareness, like here today, we do a lot of talks. We use technologies, augmented reality, VR. We even use the species that we confiscated. So, and if you visit us in the ministry, we have a huge museum of all the species that confiscated in the illegal trade, and we use them for educational purpose. So this, who knows what is this? Yes? Leopard, yes, exactly. So we found this leopard, by the way, with a passenger, which is very sad. So we use it for awareness program, and we aware people or teach them how important is those species and why should we protect them. And finally, it's not only awareness and campaigns. We also use social media. So there is a lot of international days that are addressed in the UN. So based on that, yearly, we do awareness, either social media, either live in the malls and the entities, just to showcase that you need to be part of the change. Everyone here needs to be part of the change. Change can't be happen alone. So the ministry can't do that without you guys. So we need everyone. We need all of you to be a very part of the change. So I will end my talk here. But before we finish, I will show you one video of protected area. I think it's Al-Maha protected area. It's found in Abu Dhabi. So. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Nala. Thanks a lot for this wonderful talk. We'll take some questions now, so get ready if you want to sit. All right, first question.
And straight on, over there. Yeah. Thank you.
About like the life cycle of all these mammals. Most of these are herbivores, I believe, and generally in any ecosystem you have predators for herbivores. But in UAE, I don't think you have a lot of predators for these. Rather than the human-caused effects because of which they are right now endangered, how is their population controlled or how is it checked in terms of maintaining a population?
So when it comes to predators, it's natural. It's something that happens by its own. So there is predators in the UAE, like caracals I mentioned, but doesn't affect directly on the population size. But when it comes to the impact of the reducing or reducing the population size of those species, here we interfere as a ministry or as any entity. We do programs like breeding. Not only breeding, we ensure, so for example, I know SeaWorld have a huge research center that they take the species, this is an example, so they take a species, they rehabilitate it if it's endangered, they ensure that it can survive and put it back to reproduce and have more. So this is one of the things that the country overall with all entities work on.
Actually went the other way. Like for example, a type of deer was introduced into a forest in India,
Yes.
but it caused more deforestation because they overgrazed.
Yes.
There were no natural predators at that time. For the same, if the population, like what?
Can you use the microphone? That would be easier.
How do you know that the population is at a place or if it's over for that kind of resources available?
Okay, this is why we did the assessment. We need to ensure what we have as a native species. We need to study them to know their risk. We evaluate them to know the level of their risk. But the one you mentioned that they introduced an animal, so the introduction, this is a very hard step because some of them could turn to invasive. So the introduction, it's something that we do not very easily, and it takes a long time and research and to ensure that whatever we're introducing will not affect as you said, the population. So it's two different things, but we have a program of studying or evaluating each species to know the level of risk to ensure that are we increasing the damaged species or the lost species, or we are just breeding everything and everyone. Yeah.
And I guess I will just add one question to that.
Yes.
Do you monitor the possible competition between the camels population that is under the human care and any of those herbivores that are in the desert? So do you monitor the impact of the camel population?
Yes, of course. But the monitoring program usually happens with the entities in different emirates. As I said, as a ministry, we're a federal entity. We mostly rely on the other local entities like environmental agency. They help us with the monitoring a lot. They have a huge monitoring program. They have a way of understanding the species, the population, what's happening, and whatever step we did, is it good or bad, and how is it impacted? So yes, they have this program.
Thank you. Another question, and we had one just, yeah. Yeah, you.
Me?
Oh,
Okay.
no, I can't see. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's there. On the left.
Here, yeah. Thank you.
So I want to ask, how do you deal with biodiversity loss that is about disrupting the food chain of the animals in the wild? How do you restore it, especially if multiple animals are relying on one, like a keystone species?
Okay. In the UAE, this is an issue that didn't occur because as much as we've grown as a country, we don't deal with type of disturbing the balance of a species. Even when we're building countries and we're building our country, we're building the streets, the roads, we intended to move those species and to ensure they're all together. So we don't interfere with the cycle of them, and I don't think we have this issue in the country itself. So maybe in another country, but to us, no. We don't interfere in the cycle of any species.
Do you think this is because it's smaller scale rather than larger scale?
It could be. It could be, but it's not about small scale or big scale. It's about the importance. So here in the country, we really care about our biodiversity. We're like, we fight for it. I'm one of the people that I really do. So we have people that will say no. So we could stop a whole project if we will not move one animal from there. So it's a matter of importance and how much do we care about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna move. Yeah, just here.
Yeah. How many? No, sorry. What kind of food do they eat? Like,
So
what do they eat?
So it depends. For example, the oryx, they eat plants. And
Oh.
it depends, which species do you think about right now?
I think the mammals.
Mammals usually, for example, the oryx and the tahar, they eat plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're vegetarian.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Thank you. Is there a question on this side?
Yeah, there is one here.
There is one.
Hi, okay. So my question is, when we have, like, for example, the feral goats that you were talking about, and they compete with the Arabian tahar and all of that, what are the types of protocols or regulations to prevent these invasive species from competing with the native ones?
Okay. So for invasive species, first of all, we need to identify them. There is an assessment that we do to ensure that this species is invasive. So in the UAE, we recognize 24 invasive species already. And second of all, we can't stop or compete on all of them. So we put a list of priority to control. We focus on to target which species that we will focus on. Then we allocate and address the way forward. So there is either controlling or eradicating, or even prevention. So prevention, it happens at the first level, doesn't allow them to enter the country. But when they're already there, so prevention doesn't work anymore. So it's either about eradicating them to make them gone forever, or just control them and to ensure their population doesn't rise. So this is the way that we control those species.
And right now, what is the biggest threat in terms of an invasive species in the UAE?
I don't want to say it loud, but it's cats. Unfortunately, cats is one of the high priority to manage invasive species in the country. And the way of entering invasive species could be intentionally and unintentionally. But when it comes to cats, it's intentional. So people used to bring them from around the world, and whenever they just get bored, they abandon them in the street. So people behavior need to change, because it could be one of the reasons of increasing invasive species in the country.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, come dear.
Yes, Lizzie.
I have a question in regards to cats. In the United States,
Yeah.
we do TNR, threat and release for cats. Is there a federal or even by Emirates program to do something like threat and release?
We do. Actually, this is one of the, if you check the invasive species strategy, this is one of the things we do for cats. It's effective, but the population keep increasing and people are bringing more and more. And I really wish they understand that the impact that they're doing for us. We're trying to help that cats, and we can't abandon them. And I'm a cat lover. I have 2 cats, actually. So I'm a cat supporter, and I agree with you. And we don't have enough shelters for them. So instead of buying new cats, I recommend sorry? Exactly, rescue them. So
Question in addition to that is, do you guys have a social program to educate people about TNR that is actually happening in country? Because I'm also a cat owner, and I try to, my cats are rescued, and trying to educate people on proper pet care, but also TNR is something I've never heard of in the country.
Okay, so us as a ministry, we don't have this program directly, but we work with municipalities. So for example, the biomunicipality, we work with them directly to ensure this program is addressed, is well known. I think they even have an application called Alif for rescuing or adopting any feral animals, cats and dogs basically. So you can find a lot of them there. Instead of buying with dog with 7,000-8,000, you could rescue one and have the same impact and feeling. Yes.
Thank you. I will move just here. Yes.
Yes.
Maybe wait for the microphone.
Hi, you mentioned that kids are major invasive species here in UAE. How are they affecting the biodiversity, let's say, in connection with the Arabian oryx or with any other native species? We know they are a problem to humans, but what are the problems that they are causing to wildlife or to native species?
Okay, so cats, as its natural habit, it likes to hunt or attack, like jump. So usually they attack birds a lot, and some of them are really native birds. As I agree, it's not only on animals, it's also on humans. So it causes diseases because, you know, abandoned cat, they keep eating from streets, garbage. The level of diseases in cats increased when, so for example, 10 years ago, some diseases was not there. So now it's transforming from cats. So this is something that we need to consider because it's not only about biodiversity, it's about human as well. And human is part of biodiversity as well. So it's kind of interlinked, you know what I mean? Yes.
Thank you. Yes, here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you repeat with the microphone?
Sorry.
Yeah, good evening. This is just I want to know whether do you have any rules and regulations here to stop such illegal breeding in UAE? Because we have seen a lot of cats or dogs have been abandoned. Recently we read in paper, sometimes it's coming in WhatsApp groups and they are asking support. Actually, I have 3 puppies, 2 I have adopted, and it is very difficult for me also to manage. Yes. I wish I more and more I can adopt it, but I can't. And when I see such things, we don't know why it's going on. It's too much, help, support, they are asking through groups. Do you have any rules and regulations here?
I agree with you. I think we have a law for animal welfare. When it comes to domestic species, actually we have a different department. I'm not part of it, but I'm kind of known that they have a law. And for breeding facilities, I think no one can open a breeding facilities unless it's registered in the ministry and they do checkups and ensure that this facility is not for misuse, like you mentioned. So I agree with you. I have seen it a lot.
And one more thing, just want to know the climate change, whether it's affecting the biodiversity within UAE. It's a large question.
Yes.
we may need an entire night for that.
Actually, I believe it does. As I said, we have a certain department that manages climate change. I'm not an expert in it, but I believe it does. Climate affect biodiversity. For example, when it comes to marine, it does. So the high level of temperature impact corals.
And you are taking the statistics of the past years, you will be coming through that factor. It can be a factor, right?
Yes, it is. Actually, it is a factor. They did a lot of study, and I think they have an NDC that shows how is it impacted. And I think biodiversity has a whole section in that NDC. And yes, it does. It does.
Thank you. Sorry, we can't see you anymore. So I can't see any. Right. Can we put the light back? Someone? Or otherwise, I will just say, here, yes, okay.
Good evening. Thank you so much for your talk. I'm over here.
Yes, yeah.
I was wondering what your opinion is on the destruction of the mangrove that we see in Abu Dhabi due to construction, and how you see that as impacting biodiversity and that balance between development, construction, and preservation, because the current destruction of the mangrove must surely be impacting on biodiversity. So I just wondered about your opinions about that.
So when it comes to any development, as I said, it's a must, it's a rule, so it's a law. You have whatever you have there of a species, you need to move. So in Abu Dhabi, they have a lot of mangrove areas and they're planting more. Actually, we're aiming to reach 100 million in the next less than 10 years. So I think Abu Dhabi works so much hard to ensure that mangroves are protected. Maybe they need some area to expand, which something that now I can say that I don't mind. Before, as environmentalist, I could mind it, but after majoring in environmental management and minoring in business, I think we need to understand how to use everything for not only our own benefits, but for the biodiversity itself. So we can't stop development because we need to protect, but we can have a way of protection through this development way. So it's either, we have to have a balance. Balance is life, but we can't stop that. And I think Abu Dhabi, they really, they have a huge program for mangrove. Actually, the UAE even released an alliance called MAC Alliance. So it's Mangrove for Climate. It's helping countries and UAE promising of planting more mangroves to reduce certain amounts of CO2, which I don't remember the number right now. So, yeah.
Sorry, I had another question to go back on the terrestrial mammals population, and one type of mammal that we didn't speak about, it's bats. Do we have bats in the...
Actually, we do. But I think, I don't remember the number of population, but we do. And it's not a species that anyone is targeting, to be honest.
All right.
They always forget about it.
We'll have a night for bats then.
Yes.
I love bats. All right. Yeah.
How do you mentioned they have breeding programs. How do you control the spread of diseases when you have them in large numbers during the breeding programs?
So how to manage the disease when you're doing a breeding, when you're having a breeding program?
Yes.
Is this your question?
Yeah, this is my question.
Okay.
Okay, for the breeding program, there is a lot of facilities. We don't manage those facilities, so I don't exactly know how it works, but what I know that they follow rules. They have different rooms, different areas, either, and they have, which I think I visited one. It have a simulation room to, for example, they breed, then they have a simulation room for the species to understand that it could be this could be its environment, so they release it later on. But when it comes to diseases, I'm not sure, but I think every facility has a protocol to ensure whenever disease is spread, they know how to control it and put it down. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I have one more question.
Yes.
Whenever there's an invasive species, like how do you eradicate them? And how do you get rid of them?
Okay, so again, in the strategy, I think there is, for each invasive, there is a way of eradication. So when it comes to cat, as I said, we use the TNR. But for example, when it comes to rodents and mouses, we use either chemical eradication, so it's like poisoning, or we use physical, is like by using traps. So for each species, there is a way. So there's a global identified ways, not harmfully ways, that we use to eradicate them.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Elliot, over there.
There's obviously a fantastic work has been done with the Arabian oryx, and I believe that there's also been a project with the scimitar-horned oryx and reintroducing them into Chad.
Yes.
Is there any other sort of international programs or like global programs that the UAE is assisting with or working on in specifically?
Yes, we have a lot of, actually my colleague works on that program. So we have a lot of programs that the country work not only on oryx, and as you said, we have for Hubara. So we have the international, the biggest international fund for Hubara in the UAE, and we release them in other countries. And we have also for falcons, and what other species? So we have, and we release them not only in UAE, so in GCC countries, in Pakistan and Uzbekistan. So we have so many programs in other countries, also Chad as well. So UAE is worldwide. It's not only here.
Yeah, just here.
With the increase of rainfall and rainfall events, water gathering in pools in the deserts, the mountains, have you maybe seen an increase in biodiversity associated with the rainfall events?
This is something that we didn't study, to be honest. To be honest, there's no clear statistic or views of that, but I can say during COVID, we noticed a lot of species coming back. So, but for the rain one, we haven't done any study in regard to that.
And it might be a bit too
Maybe,
recent.
yeah, we should start it, yeah.
I guess it's linked to the climate change
Yes.
question before, but yeah, thanks. All right, I have a question over there. Yes? Wait for the microphone. Wait.
My question is really simple. What is the maximum age for all species to live?
Maximum?
Maximum age?
Yeah.
Can you just pick one species? Because I think it's going to be too difficult.
Any species.
Let's say, which one do you know? Oryx. What is?
Oryx? I'm not sure, actually. I really don't know. I only know cats. Again, I'm a cat lover, so I think cats could live to 12 or sometimes more. So, but in their age or in their way, they're older, actually. So each year is like around, I don't know how many years to them. So, for example, my cat is 3 years, but when I read about it, she's technically more than 20 years in my age, human age. So it's kind of, I don't know how the calculation is, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Well, one of you, just, yeah, go ahead.
Right. First of all, thank you so much for the presentation. It was really informative about what the UAE has been doing. My question is, one of the main issues when it comes to biodiversity conservation around the world is the fact that the habitat that we have is getting fragmented. So like when you have developments come between habitats, which makes it hard for species to transfer from one habitat to the other. So I was wondering, is there any policy or plans or programs that the UAE has when it comes to connecting your natural reserves so that your species can move from one place to another, which can help in fertility?
Actually, most of our natural reserve is not fenced, it's open. We allow them to move around, and we ensure the protection of it by ensuring that human is not interacted to it. But we don't have fences in some of our protected areas, and we allow them to be, because animals doesn't have any border. It would travel, it would walk, it will find a new home if it feels like it. So we don't have any fences on any species. We just allow them to be.
And I guess follow-up question on that: how did you select? How did you draw the line around the terrestrial reserve?
The point of it?
Yeah. Or how did you design the shape of them?
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't design the shape of the protected area. Actually, so when it comes to protected area, each emirate allowed to use its lands to identify it as protected. So they give us the exactly size of the amount that they want to protect. So when we say we want to protect that, we're not allowed to interfere, we're not allowed hunting, we're not allowed to do anything. So it's protected. But they're the only one who's providing the lands. So they can tell us They want 30 kgs to be, 30 kilometers to be protected, or 20 or less. So it's something according to the entity itself and the emirate itself, not the ministry. We don't interfere with sizes. Yes.
Thank you. Yes, with you and your sister. Yes. Go ahead. Maybe with a microphone. That would be better.
Do carcasses live in barrels?
Live in
burrows underneath the ground.
Underground.
In the ground, do they have burrows?
They live in where? Sorry.
In the ground. In the
Oh
soil?
yeah, no, they don't. They actually live in desert area and usually mountains. So they travel a lot, but they don't live in holes. They live outside. So they're like big cats.
What kind of hedgehog was that hedgehog? The picture.
Hedgehogs. What kind of? Oh, sorry. Can you say that again? What kind of? It's about hedgehogs.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
the
what
poster
kind
on
of them?
On the poster. That's a good question. That's a very good question.
So who's a biologist here? Can help.
I don't have the exact answer, but it's an Arabian hedgehog type, I would say. Lizzie, do you have it?
Arabian? Is it? Okay.
Sorry? Brands? Okay. Brands hedgehog. Thank you, Lizzie. All right, we'll take one more question. And I see at the back over there, yes.
Hi. Yeah, so we've been learning so much about climate change and how it's been impacting our planet. And we hear every year that the maximum temperature is rising and rising and rising and breaking records. So I'm curious how, or if the ministry or the UAE has done research on terrestrial mammals as well as aquatic mammals and how it's been affecting their lives.
So we do have research. As I said, now we're collaborating with the Climate Change Department. We're working with the NDC, it's National Determined Contribution. They're promising to reach to net zero by doing projects related to different sectors. So one of them is biodiversity. We're doing a whole study with them on how the direct impact of climate change on us and what should we do. So this is, I think the UAE released their first NDC, I'm not sure, maybe a couple of years ago. And this is something we'll be working on them now. Correct, climate change affects terrestrial, either mammals or all species, biodiversity overall. And this is something that we are focusing on, and it's one of the upcoming projects that we're collaborating with Climate Change Department.
Small additional question.
Yes.
If I can. Have you seen research that more mammals have been endangered as climate change has affected, like as the temperatures have risen, or?
To be honest, personally, I didn't. I mostly work on policies, but maybe my colleagues did. So I don't work in a researcher section. I'm mostly on policies. So, but I could check, and maybe in the next talk I'll give you the answer.
Thank you.
And I guess you can also just follow what's going on in Colombia right now with the biodiversity COP16. I think it's a lot of topics and a lot of discussion happening right now on that subject, on loss of biodiversity and obviously all the impact coming from the climate change as well as human activities and so on. But yeah, I think it's a good thing to follow up if you're interested.
Yes.
Right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nala.
Thank you.
I think it was a very lovely evening. Thank you for coming, everyone. Next talk in November, 21st of November, and we'll confirm the topic very soon. So keep an eye on the website, and hopefully we'll see you all next month. Thank you, Nana.
Thank you, dear. Thank you all.